Hey everyone, I'm back doing another tutorial. My last tutorial was done in Reforged graphics, and since the remaster never worked out, I've decided to remake that and start fresh using the classic Warcraft 3 graphics to avoid any confusion. So you can consider this the first tutorial in the Human series. Today I'm going to cover a variety of early game basic information and give an example near the end. In future videos I will cover more advanced concepts. Be sure you like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. When the game starts, Player Red has a mode selection screen where you can choose either Classic, Custom, or Pro mode. Classic mode is the normal, unchanged, and unaltered mode that most people can play on. However, if you want to spice up the game, or maybe help balance the game in favor of vampires or humans, perhaps you want to give an edge to either side, this can be done with the Custom mode selection. Custom mode allows you to change a variety of settings that can alter things like gold leak rate, vampire bounty, revives to vampires, increased wood bonuses for humans, and many other options. The third mode is called Pro mode. This mode is specifically designed to boost vampires with a specific set of rules and instructions that will make the game easier. I personally recommend Classic mode for most game scenarios. However, you can listen to the players in the lobby. They will usually guide you to help choose a fair mode for the lobby. Once the mode has been selected, a 5-second loading countdown will appear top right. Once the countdown is over, all the humans team will spawn. The first thing you want to do is blink away from center spawn because in 60 seconds the vampires will spawn on your spawning location. Although do not worry if your human is AFK. If he's AFK and the vampires spawn, you will be teleported to a safe space on the map known as the party pool, and vampires cannot enter this area. The first thing you want to do is blink away and find an empty base and start building houses to produce workers. Tents are then constructed to increase your worker food capacity. Workers will gather lumber resources that will be needed to further progress in the game. Now you may want to set up shop in one base, but this is not recommended. Humans are limited to the progression by the lack of gold in the early game. If you don't have gold, then you can only tech to a certain amount before you hit a tech barrier. I'll give you information on how you earn gold in a few moments. Until you have at least 25k lumber and 2 gold, you want to do what is commonly referred to as mini basing. Until you hit max worker capacity of 250 supply, you want to build small lumber camps in multiple bases. 3 houses and 2 tents is usually recommended. The reason for this is if you put all your workers and everything you built in one base without any defenses, the vampires will focus you and feed off your workers and structures. If you spread out your mini bases and lumber camps, then even if a vampire attacks one of them in one base, you won't lose everything at once. This is a vital strategy to minimize vampire feed and maximize your economy. Now once you've trained the full max food capacity, you'll notice that your food limit tops out at 240 out of 250 food capacity. This is a mechanic that saves the last 10 food for you to train a hero. You'll want to now build a Slayer Tavern and train a Slayer. Once you have trained your Slayer, you'll want to blink him towards the Slayer leveling pit. The Slayers will level at the end of each minute, so always be sure to blink him towards the leveling pit before that happens. You must also be very attentive. The vampires love to harass the Slayer pit once they have strong items. Most humans will ping the location of the pit as a warning to let you know vampires are inside or coming, so be careful not to lose your Slayers. Your Slayer has a variety of important abilities that are unlocked with level ups, the most important ability being a spell called Building Protection. This, when activated, will turn all structures owned by you nearby invulnerable for a certain duration. The duration and range increases with level 1 being unlocked once your Slayer hits level 8, and the second level of the ability unlocked at level 20. Your Slayer has the ability to pick up and use items, which I will get into in the future. Now that you have your Slayer training, you will now want to construct a research center. There's 2 important upgrades that you want to tech as soon as you can. The first one is Slayer Adept training. This one is optional, but very important. It will make your Slayer stronger and give you extra mana for blinking. This is very important, and I'll cover it in the next bit. The second upgrade is called Worker Motivation. Vampires will focus your harvesters any chance they get, especially in the early parts of the game. By default, workers have 100 hit points. This upgrade will increase their hit points to 400. And vampires have a spell called Chain Lightning that they will use to send a bolt of lightning towards your worker line, which in the early parts of the game will be anywhere dealing 100 to 300 damage depending on their levels. Workers feed vampires a lot early, so you'll want to prioritize getting the work motivation upgrade researched and finished as fast as possible. Once you have it, the vampire's chain will no longer kill them and you can prevent them feed. On the subject of workers, this is one of the most important things for a new player in this game. Your tier 1 harvester workers have an ability called detonate. When vampires either break into your mini bases or are about to kill your workers, you can highlight them, press D on your keyboard plus mouse click repeatedly, very fast, and you can detonate them with ease, preventing any more vampire feed. Remember that a vampire without feed won't be able to win the game. Next I want to talk about something called keybinds. In Warcraft 3, there's a mechanic built into the game called Keybinding. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, you'll notice that I can jump to certain units and structures without actually mouse clicking them. To keybind, select an amount of workers or structures and hold Control and press any number from 1 to 10 above your keyboard, and this will keybind them to that key. And then if you press that key, it will select it, and double tapping will pan your camera instantly to whatever you have keybinded. Keybinds are very useful. Later in the series, I will cover the importance of keybinding your attack towers, workers, and other things. There is one more thing to cover before we actually choose a final base to settle down in. Gold coins. There are a few ways to obtain gold coins. The first being that humans automatically get 2 gold coins at 5 minutes game time. Another method is to pick up gold coins with your Slayer. Vampires will randomly drop gold coins when killing structures and harvesters. You have to be very quick and blink for them with your Slayer to catch them. Each coin you pick will get you automatically on level up with your Slayer. You can also buy gold with your human builder. He has an ability that can convert 3,000 lumber to gold. This ability, however, is only available after 5 minutes game time has passed. There is one last method of earning gold, which I will cover in the next bit. Now that we have covered most of the basics, now it is time to choose and build your base to settle down in. Do not fully commit to a base until you have at least 25,000 lumber and 2 gold. Most people will base on the end of the 5th minute. Aim to also base in this duration. The earlier you can base, the better your economy will be later in the game. Choose a base that is unclaimed. You can either build a flag, human vault, or type -claim to claim the base. Once you have claimed the base, no one can build inside it or team kill your structures. The first thing you will want to do is build a human vault. This will open you up to more tech options, as well as spawn a unit called a Barricade builder. Use this worker to construct a barricade at the front entrance to your base. This wall is a temporary, nearly invulnerable wall that will grant you a sort of grace period for a period of time. The Barricade builder and the wall will only last 95 seconds, starting the moment the human vault is constructed, so you can prolong the lifetime of the temporary wall by building the human vault later in the game minute. Now once you've constructed that, you want to build a house and upgrade it into a lumber house. This will enable the spawning of Furbolgs. Furbolgs are the next tier harvester that will gather a greater amount of lumber than your normal tier 1 workers. They are also one of the primary units that you will end up using to repair your structures with. These harvesters, like tier 1 workers, will also benefit from the worker motivation upgrade, increasing their hit points to a total of 400. Now you want to build a gold mine. Note that you must construct the human vault and lumber house in order to build a gold mine. Gold mines will generate gold income throughout the minute, with the basic white gold mine generating 2 gold per minute at the end of each minute. Make sure you construct the gold mine before the minute passes, or you will have to wait until the next minute to receive income. Now that you have gold, use it to train tier 2 Furbolg harvesters. You now want to construct a wall. You'll notice that each base has a glowing ruin near the entrances that will indicate the optimal wall placement for that base. You can either choose that spot or pick a different spot for yourself, but note that no matter what spot you choose, you want to have the wall placed in the middle of an entrance, blocking vampires from entering. First, using your Orc Tower Builder, construct an Amethyst wall and then upgrade it into a Sapphire wall once it's been completed. Now go back to your Research Center and start upgrading gem quality. This will increase the total hit points of your walls. This is a very important upgrade to have once vampires come to attack you. Aim to get at least gem quality level 2 by the time your barricade wall expires. There are a few things vampires can attempt to break into your base in the early stages of the game. The first attacks you will see will include the usage of a Frenchman and cyclones. A Frenchman is a unit that can be spawned by vampires that is very cheap to purchase. It is designed to kill your human builder and Furbolg harvesters. The good news is it is a relatively weak unit and can be killed fairly easily. The Frenchman can fit into cracks on the sides of your walls and breach into your base or kill your human. To counter this, you should build wall towers. Your lumber house can train a unit called an Orc Tower Builder. Use this unit to build wall towers a half space behind your wall. A half space can fit your human and Furbolgs to repair your wall, but is not big enough to fit a hero. Use the wall tower's ground smash ability right where your human will stand behind the wall to repair, and this will deal splash damage and kill the Frenchmen dead in their tracks. Vampires have more strategies just yet though. They can purchase an item called Boots of Speed, which will on top of increasing their movement speed also give them an active ability called Bloodlust, which increases hit points and attack speed of the affected unit. This will make Frenchmen even deadlier and harder to counter. Still, wall towers are usually your best counter early on. They can also heal the Frenchman once it takes damage to prolong its life, so I'd recommend blinking your human builder out of danger until the Frenchman threat is eliminated. Remember that your human is your lifeline. If you lose your human builder, your game is now over, so keep him alive at all costs. Alternatively, this other method to counter it requires a bit of micro. If you build a flame tower or two, you can keybind those and use them to micro the Frenchmen yourself and kill them before they can even reach the wall. This approach requires quite a heavy investment in your resources and upgrade time if you do this early in the game, so most people rely on wall towers and blinking their human away instead. A good player will always check the vampire items before they reach their wall. If you know what items they have, you can better plot out your defense. In the early stages, you should always have a shiny pearl tower constructed. This upgrades straight into a large mana tower. If vampires don't have mana resistance shields, then this tower is very crucial and will take away their mana in large chunks. Vampires in the early stages, before their chain lightning ability becomes a high level, rely on their partner to both sync their chain lightning spell together to kill your Furbolgs. Only a level 23 vampire alone can possibly kill a single Furbolg by himself with his chain lightning spell. Until then, he relies on his partner to sync together their chain to kill your Furbolgs. So if one of the vampires have no mana, then only one vampire can chain your Furbolgs, and you can out-heal the damage with healing towers. Note that Furbolgs are the main source of vampire income aside from actually breaking into your base. Vampires will generally try a few Frenchmen, and on top of that, they will cyclone your human and both sync their chains together to chain your Furbolgs for gold. Once they are out of cyclones and are out of mana, the attack is usually over and they will return to their base for more mana and health from the healing and mana fountains at the center spawn. That is all for today. I will cover more in future tutorials. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and you can request more tutorials and challenge uploads if you join my Patreon. The link is in the description, and thanks for watching.